So, what are the skills that make an average Yu-Gi-Oh player a better one?
I mean, memorization is just good. Good in general, not just for Yu-Gi-Oh, but in life. The more you can memorize, the better you'll be. Oh, go
Memorizing
ahead.
what exactly, though?
All the different possible cards that can show up, all the different various decks. I guess
Yeah,
not
that's true.
necessarily. I wouldn't really call it a skill, but one thing that a lot of players don't understand, like the key to getting good at Yu-Gi-Oh, is to play a lot of different decks.
Yep, so true.
When you're playing against Sword Soul, it seems like it's like this isn't possible. They don't seem to have any choke points. And then you try to play the deck yourself, and when you get shut down, you'll be like, oh, that's where the weaknesses are.
Yeah, that's the only reason I play meta decks, is just to learn how to beat them.
Yeah, when you play a deck, you learn so much more intimately exactly where it's weakest and where to hit it the hardest. So the
Yeah.
best thing you can do as like a rogue player is to play a whole bunch of meta decks on your off time or on like Edo Pro or Dueling Book or whatever, so that you gain an understanding of exactly how those decks work. So that when someone activates something that searches, or they set a specific card like in their back row where you know what it is, you could be like, oh, well, the only reason they would make that choice is if they already had this in hand, or if they knew that they were going to get this next turn. You start to be able to learn to predict what they're going to do when you know
Yeah,
it.
that's true. It's like if a Sword Soul player searches and they don't search Mo yet, it's like, oh, they have it in their hand already.
Yeah, which can help you make your decisions about how you're going to break their board and how you're going to respond, what you're going to end on for the next turn.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so just play everything and you'll get better at the game, which is
Yeah.
pretty true.
The more decks you can play, the more different, varied things you can play. And again, that it feels like that's almost like life advice, right? Like the more things you know about, the more topics you learn about, the better equipped you'll be to deal with whatever situation that comes up.
True. Just become a master of everything. Or what is it?
Yeah,
Jack of all trades.
a
You don't
jack of
need to be
all
a master
trades.
at any of them.
That's what I tell people a lot of times. It's like, it's good to learn a little bit of medicine. Not only so like if you get injured, you know not to do stupid things. You get
Oh,
shot with an arrow, don't push the arrow deeper.
that's a good idea. I never thought of actually just learning medicine. Like
Just a little bit.
I have like a first
Some,
aid kit in like every room in the house. So I'm
but
like
it's like
super prepared for stuff.
you learn some basic medicine, not only to help you with medicine, but also like if you see someone on TV talking about like, oh, well, this thing can be used to melt the fat off of your body. If you
Oh,
know a
that
little bit about biology, you're like, oh, well, that's bullshit. That doesn't
Yeah,
exist.
yeah. Those things just literally do not work at all, and you see them everywhere. And it's like, wait,
And
I lift weights. I know all this nutrition stuff. That's
yeah,
actually just made up.
that's that's
That's not
actually
real.
just pseudoscience.
Yeah, that's actually just like magic.